two of this war. It started with Operation Epic Fury, which was 5 weeks of bombing, and now the U.S. is moving to economic fury. You've heard that term used by the Treasury Secretary and some others in the administration. And as part of economic fury, the U.S. is imposing the blockade of Iranian ports and preventing ships from going into and out of Iranian ports. But now, additionally, it's going to be boarding and seizing oil tankers and commercial vessels that are tied to Iran. So not necessarily even in the Middle East. This could happen in the Pacific. It could happen in other, what the military calls areas of operation. And that is designed to really crack down on these ships that help fund the Iranian regime and therefore the Iranian offensive capabilities and the war. We don't know we know this is going to happen in the coming days. We don't have a timeline of like when they'll start jumping on ships, but it could look a lot like what they did with respect to Venezuela, where they have the Justice Department involved, the Coast Guard, law enforcement authorities, and they actually get seizure warrants for some of these tankers. So we could see in a few days the U.S. seizing tankers and potentially even trying to keep the oil that they are seizing on board.
I remember they were running after those, tracing those Venezuelan ships. Okay, so Robert, assess how much of an escalation this would be and what might be triggered by it.
Well, first of all, I think Shelby's reporting is absolutely fantastic. I just want to compliment her on this. But second, I want to say what this shows is this is far from over. Both sides are completely willing to escalate to get their way. And as Shelby just said, we don't know the timelines, but we're now reaching an incredibly dangerous phase, because what this would mean is for the first time, U.S. troops are now coming directly and being engaged directly with ships carrying Iranian oil. And Shelby mentioned the Venezuela model. Well, Venezuela didn't have drones, and it didn't have a demonstrated willingness to bomb and kill Americans on U.S. bases already. So this is a much more dangerous situation. Now, why is this actually happening? If I can just make one more point. This is happening because both sides have demands that are literally zero sum. Iran cannot it cannot be both the case Iran has its enriched uranium and it does not. It cannot be the case that Iran is in control of the Strait of Hormuz and it is not. And that is the fundamental bargaining problem here. The world wants this to be over. The two sides, they're far from agreeing that force is the worst case here. For these two sides, they are fully prepared to use force to get their way.